I think we should aim for like half an hour. It seems like, I struggle to speak for a long time without having a very dry throat. So I think anything pushing beyond that.
Or we could just lube up your throat.
How do you suggest that?
Got some yogurt in the fridge.
I don't like yogurt. People actually like yogurt.
I'll eat it if it's there.
Alrighty. I think that is good to go.
Then
should we intro music?
It's the lead.
We haven't. We should. Yeah. We should have it. Perfect, and then a gentle fade. Laughing. Ha 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 ha. Gentle fade. Ha ha ha. Well, welcome to the official director's commentary of Deep Thought Podcast Episode 1.
Very special episode.
Very special episode. My name is Nick Shadle.
I'm Michael Zabrecki. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and we are here today to reflect on the past 20 episodes.
And it's fitting that it's such a balmy Sunday night.
It is a balmy Sunday night. We're having a cup of tea between us. It's a traditional afternoon, despite the fact that it's a Sunday night.
Probably a bit too late to be having tea. We've done it up forever, but let's do it anyway.
Let's do it. Let's enjoy it. Let's go with the flow, and we'll reflect on where we've been, where we've come, and where we're going.
Exactly right.
This was the first episode that we ever recorded, and many people thought that we shouldn't have actually put it out for multiple reasons.
I remember at the time there was a lot of political unrest in certain regions of the world, and whether or not this was a timely release for us, that's for the.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 250 of Deep Thought. The director's commentary of episode 1. Joining me today in the studio, my good friend, my collaborator, and I would say one of the key voices behind this project, Michael Zabrecki. Welcome, Michael.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Now, when you think back to episode 20, a somewhat meta episode, I think many of our fans would agree. How do you think that's aged? What do you think about that decision to do something so self-indulgent so early on into what was soon to be a long-running podcast, but at the time was barely 4 months after we'd started?
I mean, it just speaks to how ahead of our time we were and are. I mean, when we did this episode, podcasts had barely been a thing for a couple of years, and already we were pushing the boundaries.
We're
pushing the boundaries. Like no one it was kind of revolutionary even just to have a podcast in that time. But let alone do a director's commentary on an episode that you had done, a couple of weeks ago. That just changed the game. And now obviously we see copycats, these days. We see, the Bo Burnhams of the world. And they've done well, and that's good. That's all well and good. They didn't give us credit. But I think it's nice to know that in our hearts, we basically revolutionized podcasting when we did this episode.
Well said.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
I remember when we first pitched this to the network, they had questions. I wouldn't say that there was...
What network was that again? I forgot their name.
That was, of course, AMC, and also Headgum, and Team Coco. I think that was the three of them. And they all had, differing opinions, but all valuable ones. But I will admit that there was some skepticism as to whether this would be, a worthwhile endeavor.
That's right.
We say.
They thought it wouldn't work.
They thought it wouldn't work.
They said, how are you going to make that work on an audio format? It's just going to sound like a sandwich of sound.
Yeah. Having two people's voices talking over each other, that's tricky.
It didn't make sense.
Then you add a second layer to it where there's two people's voices talking over those two people's voices. It starts to become tricky. It's
double layer.
So I think, though, that they would, with the benefit of a decade, be able to look back at this and recognize that it was actually a successful, a revolution in podcasting. But see, just like a good idea.
Good ideas will always rise to the top and stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Much like, Friends or How I Met Your Mother. Like these shows were kind of ridiculed at the time for being kind of generic or whatever.
Yeah.
But the quality shines through because you go back and listen to any How I Met Your Mother episode, holds up. All the jokes hold up.
All the jokes hold up. They're not sort of stuck in this early 2000s, gay humor where it's like, sorry, I'm just hearing.
Why did you go to fail? Home of the dusty ranch. We'll find you and you'll find me.
Beautiful, the song.
Beautiful songs. I think the How I Met Your Mother analogy is apt, and I also look forward to disappointing our fans with the final ending, inevitably letting down people after years of build up. So
you look forward to that. Okay,
I do look forward to that. Yeah,
interesting.
I'm gonna just listen back in here, try and work out what we were singing about.
What did you genuinely think about this episode? What did we think before?
Well,
Before we started doing it, what did you think it would be? I mean, did you think it would be the phenomenon that it is today?
it was. I don't think anyone would have predicted how much.
I mean, we were just two guys wanting to make a podcast in our garage, and we had no idea how it would affect anyone's life. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted my friends to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about let alone the world.
And we'd had like a lot of sort of. I don't like calling them failed endeavors, but we'd done things that didn't end up sort of taking off the way that this.
I got fired from KFC, I think, just a week before, and I was like at rock bottom.
Yeah.
And I remember I called you. I was like, I'm at rock bottom, and you're like,
Still podcast. But I mean, we had that plaid business, and we thought the plaid was just going up and up.
I mean, I'm still not even sure what plaid is.
I mean, I think that was one of our problems as part of the business.
Did you know what it was?
I was confused, but I
it was definitely a good name.
It was good,
but I think to start a business, you should you can't just start a business. It needs to be about something.
It is. Yeah. I thought the name was I was very happy with the name Snakes and Platters, but I think we just rested on our laurels a bit once we.
I have no idea what Snakes and Platters is. Do you have any idea what this is?
Snakes.
Not a goddamn clue.
Dissuading people.
I thought it was a snake catching kind of pest control thing.
Okay, I think that's what we've now discovered is that actually we had a really good name for something, but not an idea of what it was going to be. Well, that's consistent. I do feel like you can hear a difference in our voice, and I don't just mean the audio quality. I think we sound like noticeably
younger
babies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably later at night. We're probably a bit drunker.
We definitely did. It used to be like every Sunday night.
It was a bit of a party when we used to do
We would come around and it would be on Toronto Ave, and I'd end up at your house with my laptop.
And sometimes there'd be other people there,
Yeah, there'd just be others. And we would definitely have drinks, and we would sit there and just wing a conversation. And I think there was a certain purity to that, that we do interact differently when we're in the same room. And of course, now it's been a decade of us doing this remotely. But there was something about starting, at least, I think, face to face that really got us where we were. I don't think if we'd started remotely, it would have worked.
No way.
Thanks for the next one.
Yeah, but this was a good chat that we actually had.
Yeah.
We're already. Okay.
Who's that?
Well, no.
Remember Ben's on the first
let's assume
episode?
it's like 4 years.
Oh.
All right. I think it's 4 years.
It's not 4 years. It takes.
How long did it
take to get to the moon? It's like
The moon's like a day.
In the first episode, we only had one microphone and we sat it between us. And that's how we recorded for basically every time we were in person together.
Yeah.
So it was always a case where we had this very specific setup. We'd be kneeling on the ground in front of a coffee table, or sat on two adjacent sides of it, and we would vaguely point the mic in between us both. But invariably, because it was a single track recording, you couldn't edit it at all. You couldn't balance the levels at all. And we would be, there would be one of us that was quiet and one of us that was loud at all times.
I have this memory of, because I actually think you used to upload them almost straight away, right? Because I have this memory of, there was one time we did with our friend Ben Williams, who we worked at the cinema with. He was a guest, and I had this memory of you leaving after we recorded, him staying, and he and I listened to the episode immediately at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, it was because there was one track. All I could do was cut off find the end point, like cut the start and then cut the end.
Yeah.
And that was it. Export the file, upload, baby. That was all we did. There was no jingles. There was no like audio mixing. Just one and done. And like literally it would be like 15 minutes after we finished, I was back outside joining you where you were probably having a smoke or something.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's like
it was raw.
It's like like a newsroom.
Yeah,
turn it around.
Next
quick.
story, please. Yeah. Whereas these days, people tend to be surprised, but because you have a track which you have to send to me, I do audio post-processing on it. I do a mix and put my jingles in, and I'm often editing. Like I re-listen to all of it and cut ums and ahs out. I'll trim, extraneous bits. I'll make sure the sync of the audio aligns so that our conversation is actually back and forth. All this kind of stuff. I probably spend about 4 hours on every edit, and that is not I'll just pop inside and do it, and then you just wait for me to finish. Yep. That's an afternoon.
Yeah, and I spend quite a few hours myself just doing the clips that everyone loves as well. Just the videos, just trying to get them perfect and trying to get the SEO copyright and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's arguably more important than the original product.
Yeah. It's the samples.
And of course, you need to go and source an image for the Instagram feed.
Oh yeah, we're both working really hard on this show, but we love it.
To be fair, you've done quite a few jingles in the last couple of weeks. That's extra, that's extracurricular activities.
Yeah, I just do it for the passion, man. I just do it out of the love of the game.
Yeah, no outros for those jingles though. You only seem to do the intro for the jingle. There's no sort of outro. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't need to do what you tell me because you're not my boss.
Let's check back in.
I do you not feel like, you've joked a few times that I'm the one that does the introductions, and like that sort of side of it.
You're a control freak.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, but that's how it's settled. I don't think that was always going to be the case. It's just I kind of got into that rhythm.
It needs to be that way.
It does need to be that way.
Yeah, for sure. Can you imagine, man? Like, I can't fucking, like...
Here we go.
It's coming through the headphones.
I'll mute that. That's fine. There we go.
Just leave it in. Just leave it in.
I like it.
Can you imagine if I, if you think about it, this deal is pretty good for me. Like, you come to my house every week.
There's another reason.
I don't move. I literally... Sometimes I'm just asleep. You literally just set up. Then when we finish, you stay back, edit, and I just fuck off and do whatever I want. Then you leave and you have to drive back, and I just stay here and just do whatever I was doing. I literally moved from
dynamic has not changed
onto the floor, and that's all I do.
Yeah,
I don't do anything.
And so I've earned the right to introduce the show.
You've absolutely earned the right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Wow, that's good to hear.
Very, very big of me, doesn't it?
It is. You really do recognize your position there, which is I appreciated that.
Do you feel like you get to state your like you get to go into your real opinions genuinely, or do you feel like you fall back into jokes, sort of out of habit?
Sometimes I feel stupid, like I want to goof around. Sometimes I feel serious.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's just what happens. I don't actively try and be serious or joke when I don't.
It's just whatever mood you're in.
Whatever mood I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll just do that.
Pre-ADHD diagnosis.
yeah, it made me a bit sad to hear that.
Oh,
Expectations or or
You know, my dad actually just said that he has the Spotify app on his car, and that's how he often listens to our episodes of the pod. But the way that it works is that once the most recent pod is finished, it goes back to the oldest episode in the list and starts playing there. So he's been hearing episodes of like episode 50 or something back from 200 episodes ago. And he was like, wow, like you sound like children. Like, yeah, what a different vibe.
Yeah.
it was, it is still nice to watch and see that people are still listening, 20 weeks in and downloading it and playing it and that sort of stuff.
20
and,
weeks in.
Veterans.
With an established.
It's funny because we are kind of veterans now.
I genuinely, 250 episodes is a shit ton of episodes.
It's more than most podcasts in the world.
100%. 100%.
We just haven't grown at all, which is just astounding. It's kind of impressive.
To be clear, we have grown as people.
Oh,
we
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
grown in terms of listenership.
Where it counts in the numbers.
Yeah. But one day Manscaped will come crawling back.
Yeah.
From Melbourne on the bus, to uni and stuff.
Oh, first Melbourne reference. Foreshadowing. How many years after I moved to Christchurch did you move to Melbourne?
What year?
I moved in 2015.
Well, 1 year.
Start of 2015. End of 2014.
Start of 2016 for me.
Oh, shit.
I couldn't take it, Nick. I said, if Nick's not here, there's nothing here for
I don't
me.
want to be in Adelaide.
Yeah, it is a bit confusing. It does feel very self-indulgent to me.
I believe at the moment you're bringing up the fact that you don't understand the meta level of the director's commentary in this episode.
Yeah. We've grown as people. We have.
What are you people doing with your lives?
Thank you, though. But
Get a job.
we're just confused, that's all. It's wonderful.
Oh, sorry for the wrestling.
It's Russell time. It's Russell Central.
Russell o'clock.
Yeah. I want to see what...
Russell Crowe.
Why didn't you think of that then? It's nice that you get to think of new tags for your jokes.
It's been eating away at me this whole time.
My only vices on that planet, if I was like living there and existing there,
That's nice to hear, Ben.
My refuge would be in itself.
Masturbating into the airlock.
No, a reminder of Earth, like a remnant.
You were. I think when we scheduled the first recording, you didn't even know that Ben was going to be at my house, and I think you were kind of like, oh, what the fuck? Like you weren't like you weren't openly annoyed, but I remember just the sense that you were like, okay, I thought it was going to be like for the first one, you want to bring your fucking brother in, like really, which is fair.
I think that's fair.
It is fair. It's totally fair. I was just like selfish.
Not even that. It was more. It was just like I didn't know that you'd invited someone else to be there.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, I guess this is a different dynamic. But
Yeah.
it was, we only launched when we had done 4 episodes. So we put a few in the can before we felt like they were ready to go up.
Yeah. Which they were.
So, we worked out a few kinks, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was probably worth it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know that we're making a show, but can we reuse what we've already shown people? Is that...
Yeah, like how are people just accepting that?
Yeah.
It's not a show.
And
I remember The Office did it, and I was so surprised. The
Yeah.
American Office, and it was so weird.
It was.
Because that was like, it was almost like the laugh track. Like, who has the laugh tracks anymore? Like the
Big
laugh
Bang
track is
Theory and
dead.
stuff.
Big Bang Theory has the laugh track?
Yeah. But
Good work, Big
that's
Bang
like the biggest comedy in the world.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is. Yeah, it is.
The Big Bang Theory is...
Yes.
And you came around on that, actually. You now famously love BBL.
Yeah.
BBT. BBL?
Yeah.
What's BBL? Big Brazilian butt lift.
Okay.
BBT.
Yeah. I'm a fan of both. But yeah. Yeah. I have Big Bang Theory seasons 8 to 11 on Blu-ray, actually. So.
Well, you want access to a classic like that at any time. And in the streaming era where things, appear on one network and they disappear 6 months later, it's like, look, just give me a disc.
Totes. And honestly, the extras on there, it's just incredible.
Yeah. And have you listened to the director's commentary on The Big Bang Theory
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's amazing.
Johnny Galecki, a character on
Galecki's-
and off the screen.
Oh, he's so good or bad.
Probably good, I'd say.
Yeah, probably good.
Yeah.
It probably is, but I was just listening to what we were talking about.
Wait, is he the other guy that's not Charlie Sheen? Because I did actually listen to a podcast with him.
Charlie Sheen is Two and a Half Men.
Oh, I was thinking of Two and a Half Men.
And you're thinking of John Cryer.
I am. I heard him. He was on Bill Maher's podcast the other day, and
John Cryer is a surprisingly chill dude. Like he's pretty well liked, I think.
Yeah, well, not by Bill Maher.
Oh, really?
It was kind of uncomfortable to listen to.
What was the dynamic?
Like he's pretty. I don't know why Cryer went on his podcast because he's pretty. He sounds pretty progressive, and Bill Maher just kind of was very antagonistic and aggressive towards him.
It's good, but also really bad. Like I just can't hear other things.
Can I have them?
You can try them, I guess. Are your ears clean?
Can I keep them? No.
You know those. You don't want to hand in-ear things to people sometimes because then they come back and they got like earwax on them. It's a bit.
I remember in this moment, I lent you my in-ear headphones to have a demonstration of how they fit and how they worked, and we had a bit of a laugh. Had to be approved by the intimacy coordinator. There was some long conversations, a lot of forms to fill out, and obviously there were some cleanliness issues that did raise problems.
Yeah.
But I think it was a simpler time. We didn't see things through the lens that we see them today, and you couldn't film something like that today.
No. I mean, you did end up suing me months later, but we settled out of court.
Well, that's a breach of your NDA, and I will see you in court.
What's an NDA?
That was probably the first reason that it fell through.
That's just how it works sometimes.
I've been alive for 27 years.
One, confusing that you spent quite a while trying to work out how old you were, and two, you ended up with the wrong number.
I think I would have.
I think I know.
How old were we then?
I think I would
24.
have learnt that lesson already, don't you?
That's true.
But I haven't. So what does that?
Babies.
Give
I
me the
should
headphones.
just give in. Yeah.
Give me the headphones.
Oh, I guess it makes sense now.
I can't. Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna
Alright,
put
you
in,
just
just
you literally
gently put in my ear and look away.
you're like that teenager who's
You do sound like a smoker.
Yeah. It's raspy. I'm like
It's so raspy. Yeah.
Kind of sound like an older woman.
It's nice to be here, Nick.
Do you reckon our dynamics changed? Like, pod-wise or friendship-wise?
I'm sure it's evolved. I don't think it's radically different.
I was thinking now, just listening to this. I think essentially we have basically the same dynamic.
Yeah.
Like you're like there's kind of like a version of like characters that I feel like there's like a little bit of that you lean into. Like you're like the type A kind of one is good with facts, and I'm just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that sort of feels like our intrinsic characters. I don't know how
Yeah, but that's what
changes.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah. But I think that what we have probably evolved at is more understanding of that and more easily like playing into those dynamics,
Yeah,
like rather than sort of pushing uphill against it. Like I think we know how the rhythms of a conversation should go or will go.
Right. Yeah. That is one thing about that I think we have probably learned as a skill, just like doing this remotely with it, just like kind of even a micro lag, you can't speak over the top of someone. So I do think that even in my day-to-day life, I actually am kind of better at like not speaking over people, which is interesting for someone with ADHD because that's usually an issue. But I don't think I have that issue that much.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that now. But I
What?
think it is.
It
Actually took
I
a
was just
lot
gonna-
of my control to not do that joke when you were speaking.
and
That's how we've grown.
I didn't have any control to not do that joke.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the noise of my voice in my ear when I'm speaking.
It wouldn't
You
be
haven't
like
finished
think
it. It's
of
just
your loved
comforting,
ones.
you know?
It would be, don't you want to see the future? And that
This was the,
talking off ledge.
This was the moving to Mars, the famous moving to Mars episode.
Oh, the classic.
Which almost feels like, in
Yeah.
a way, we sort of burnt it. It's such a good. I mean, it's a good place to start, but for episode 1, we didn't even know what we were doing yet, and it was it was like 20 minutes. It was so short that barely touched on anything. I don't think.
But it was timely though, wasn't it? Because weren't they were actually offering that at the time.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably true. Do you think there was a story about? Didn't they do like a fake Mars study where they wanted people to sign up and like go live in a camp for 6 months or something?
Yeah.
Like in simulated conditions, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't Elon though, because now he's talking about that now, kind of.
Oh, I mean, he's been talking about that forever, but yeah.
Yeah. I love that Mars would just be this like, red planet, because it's just going to be full of Republicans and conservatives.
Hey, there's a good
That's
sci-fi
pretty good.
pitch idea. Yeah.
Saved his life, and but we knew. I think we all knew that was time to make a change.
That is correct.
And now the $25,000 question.
Who do you like more, your
wants to-
mum or your father?
It's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but with incredibly personal questions.
I would love that game.
And then multiple choice still. Yeah.
Multiple choice.
Personal
Which
questions.
kid?
By the way, I think that is kind of a game now.
Like a personalized Who Wants to Be a
Yeah.
Millionaire.
Yeah, it's like they get
Are you
family
telling me
members.
we could have made money off this?
I think we could
Fuck,
have.
we missed it.
Whether they have to be honest all the way to $1 million. Dude, I think
But
this is trademarked.
The only
This is trademarked.
reason...
Oh, if we have a trademark. If we have a trademark, then we can actually pursue this.
We're millionaires, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So you escape without having to reveal the truth to the audience and to your family who's watching there.
So there's
but you don't
incentive.
take the money away.
This is basically like the tell a truth or do a shot games that they do on like Jimmy Fallon or,
Yeah.
Day Drinking with Seth Meyers, that kind of thing. I think we were ahead of the game here. We did have a good idea.
A little bit of dignity.
I don't know if this sentence has ever been said before, but this game show is running itself.
It probably has been said before, to be honest.
Not to me.
What do we think about the audio quality? Obviously, we got much better mics now, but that second, like the episode 20 audio, sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
I can't remember when we first upgraded mics. What was the first one we were ever using? Just that little grey thing I picked up off eBay.
I remember you bought me one, like a cheap one,
I did buy you one at some
and
point.
I think that sounded. I think I was using my old Apple headphones for a while, and it would just rustle on my thing, on my thing.
I'm glad that you're still burping into the pod. Thankfully, these days I can edit it out.
People love my burps.
There was a phase, you're 100% right, where you didn't have a computer and we were remote. And so you were using your AirPod headphones because I was FaceTiming your phone.
Yeah.
And I would record your end of the call from my end.
Yes, I was very poor.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
as a result of the size of everything, the physical size, but then being a part of
I think these days people have a little bit more flexibility with their. Like if there's a podcast that kind of does sound like a little bit rustly or it's not quite, I think because of COVID, I think people give it a bit more grace now.
100%. I actually listened to an older episode of a podcast the other day, which I had heard in like modern high quality audio, and I was working back through the feed, and I got to a point where it was like clearly the like recording one end of a Skype, and the conversation sometimes does that glitch and lag thing where it's like, oh, this was an online call that you've just directly uploaded. And it is funny how much it changed my opinion of that show. Like, it's weird once you've seen it at like level here, like a high level of audio quality, to go backwards to like a low audio quality feels, I don't know. It's not that I thought less of the show today, but I was like, oh, I don't know that I could listen to it like in the older, lower audio quality.
You sounded like you were agreeing with me, but then you said like the opposite thing. Because I was saying people are more forgiving of bad audio quality because during COVID it was kind of that's all that there was, or there was a lot of it.
Yeah, I guess my personal experience was not that, but I think that's different to if I started a show these days. I started listening to something that was at a lower quality, I would probably be more forgiving. But it was just jarring coming from one version to the old version,
Yeah.
You said zero tolerance, and that's what I was thinking, but I said zero toleration.
Yeah.
Great.
We're not letting him in. So, I think we're at the end of this first episode here. Let's see how we wrapped it up.
That went pretty well.
I think
We'll need to work out like the name and the intro.
Wow.
Luckily, we settled on a good name.
Because we've been peaking
Play
constantly.
Play the theme song.
You've taken your phone with you, so we can't.
That's right. Ben literally left the room.
Yeah, he got bored.
While we were still finishing up.
Yeah.
We'll work out what the email address.
A little blast of the theme
that's
song
so
just for a
funny.
second.
Good first effort.
Ready.
And I thought it would be awkward, and it was
quite awkward, but
We do sound so young. We were so young.
So young.
We were so young.
And then like putting a microphone down, you feel like you have to come up with these things. But I think we got into it pretty well. Self-review.
Oh god, that was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I always wanted to have laughing. We'd fade into laughing.
I'm glad that I knew even 20 episodes in that the fake laugh idea was not going to work.
If you know how Ben left then
Yeah.
in that episode.
Yeah.
Should I play a car crash noise?
The perception of someone who leaves, like what the perception people would have of someone who would do that
As in
is, or he is really just that, he's unaware of that, and he
do
just
you mean?
wants to do that.
I don't think he was like, this would make me seem cool if I get up and have a cigarette.
I don't know.
This is the
that's
reviewing
completely
Ben part of the
cigarette.
podcast.
That's what he wants you to think.
Well, we could ask him. He's been trying to get inside for like 3 minutes.
Has he?
I don't know.
I've been
Possibly.
hearing him around.
You've been hearing rustling, you said.
Yeah.
Well,
Three
that
roommates.
was quite fun. That's
We're
quite
like
fun.
roommates, dude.
Just three bros doing podcasts and talking about spiritual matters together
You
while
know,
drinking
the
tea. and
usual
doing
stuff.
the classics.
What's Sunday night with the guys? Men slices, cups of teas with my bros, doing podcasts. You know, the usual stuff.
Straight up copying Carl Mooney.
Oh, it's true. I hadn't even picked it up.
False.
See?
False.
See?
No,
Foes, you idiot.
no, we've had 20 weeks. 20 weeks. 20 sponsors. 20 great sponsors.
Wow. What's the...
I do feel like our sponsorships have really dropped off recently.
Big time.
We have not had John West tuna in
John
quite
West.
a long time
Yeah.
because it's the fish that they don't catch that makes John West tuna the best.
The best.
Tuna.
The best West. The best. In the West.
The best in the West. John Tuna.
Why did they drop us?
Why did they stop sponsoring us? Was it because of our bad ad reads?
Guys, it's not John Tuna. It's John West. Okay? John West.
That's Mr. Tuna.
The
to you,
tuna is what we
buddy.
catch. We catch the tuna. My name is John.
I like the guy that there's still a John at John West Tuna.
He runs the one-man show.
I catch it, but it's not named after me.
You should put it on your resume.
Made a joke about Lexus. It's one of my skills and abilities.
This is before my entire career. It's before I worked in TV at all. It's before
gotta-
you.
Be a lawyer, weren't you?
Well, I didn't want to be a lawyer, but I had just finished study
Yeah.
a year. Well, not just 2 years ago, and then
What?
I travelled the year before.
What do you reckon you would be doing if you weren't doing what you're doing now?
I think I would have ended up in the media somewhere.
I think it's kind of
It's
a dumb
just
question.
too much of an
actually.
interest. No, well, I don't think it is.
No, because you kind of gravitate towards what you're going to anyway. I think
Yeah.
guys like you.
And you.
I was going to say that, but then I was like, I don't know if I should. I don't know. I didn't like how it felt.
Well, you ended up, making podcasts as your career, in working in audio. You're a musician. It's sort of, look, you're interested, and you head in places that you're interested in because you're good at it, and that enables you to find work that's pays well and that you're interested in.
Yeah, thanks. I agree, but I'm glad that you said it.
Yeah.
That's
No,
a
it's
dark.
not. Just because it's suicide doesn't mean it's dark.
Suicide can be a beautiful.
Okay. This is
You just gotta see
some
the
taboo
beauty of it,
conversations here.
That's getting even darker than where we were. Oh god. Okay. Have you got any impressions lined up? Anything we can? Any Ben Stillers?
Here we
Any,
go.
I did Ben Stiller last time.
I don't.
Ben Stiller, still, very relevant today.
I don't remember doing Ben
Severance.
I'm constantly working on things, constantly picking up,
You're an
like,
inventor.
observing people. I'm more of a I wouldn't call myself an impressionist per se, because it's a hard word to say. I would call myself probably a people watcher.
I've always thought of you as a people person, but changing that second word person into
I'm a
watcher.
party person
You're a party person
and a
and a
people,
person people.
People.
A pape.
You get it.
Person. Okay,
You get it.
I got it.
We'll talk about it.
Party watcher.
Party watcher. So I pick up cues from people like.
And that wasn't
like,
edited.
go to the
That's
shops, for
just
example,
as
and
funny
I'll
as we
just
were
see,
on the
like,
time.
She's just, I don't know, she's done
And she'd
something
be
silly,
like-
and I'll just copy it like instinctively. So
She'd be like, please call the ambulance. And
and
you'd
I'll
be
be
like,
like,
and she's like, no, really, I need you.
yeah,
Cut.
yeah,
And yeah,
And
it's
it's like,
just
yeah.
That's how you get
still
that
good material.
real-
It's still good material. Good. Keep it coming.
Impression of someone dying.
some gravitas.
Not a bad bit.
Constantly working. It's a tough job, but I love it.
And it's earned you the fame and respect in the position that you're in today.
So thank you though.
Well, this has been lovely. I really enjoyed this.
It's funny just hearing us kind of make the same like jokes in
we
real
haven't
life.
got any funnier. Yeah.
Announcing to both you and to the populace that this will be my last episode.
Right. Can I still do it?
Oh,
You can still
Quits.
that's a twist.
by yourself.
I don't remember that.
I
And
don't
it will
mind.
just be listening to the last podcast and just
You can
pretending
work.
you're there.
You can work next week. You can do episode 2 and just do the commentary to that. Then by the time you get to episode 20, do the commentary of us doing the commentary of episode 1. And
Well, we fucking came through, didn't we?
Fucking
Didn't
incredible.
we do it? Wow. Some ideas just don't stay dead, do they?
Yeah.
I genuinely did not remember that we had pitched this.
That's so funny.
That is the best.
Well, I haven't seen that one.
yeah, I'll put that there.
Two cats drawing llamas. That's fucking impressive. But it's just a
Why-
picture, though.
why do you
I
think-
bet it's Photoshop.
Why do you think that I was putting it up on the website? I don't put low quality produce.
Yeah, could you get the video of that
yeah,
next
this-
time? That'd be way more impressive.
I should have thought of that. You can send us questions, and please do, to deepthought@gmail.com. You can go to facebook.com.
Oh, that's not changed
/deepthought,
either.
Twitter.com/deepthought.
Like us.
And go to
My
iTunes.
mobile number is 0434 243748.
I was like, fuck, am I giving up my real number?
You were genuinely, you had the idea to do it, you got far enough into it, and then you realized this is actually my number, and then changed it towards the end. But that was many more accurate digits than it should have been.
I frightened myself from the past
You did.
because that's still my number.
I know.
Finally be proud of me. I'm number 1 in the iTunes podcast charts, Daddy.
Get out of my bedroom, Michael. I
Don't care.
still
I
my
already-
drinking times.
I don't even like Snickers pods.
You know when my doors are closed, Michael. You can't get out. This is my private time, Michael. Get out of my room, Michael.
That's almost a little bit Rick and Morty, Rick.
That's my impression of your abusive father.
Fuck me. Apologies to Peter. Jesus.
I just really appreciate it.
Well, it made it sound sarcastic, but anyhow, we'll see you next week.
Damn.
That's beautiful.
That was beautiful. That was a nice trip down memory lane, I have to say.
It's funny because we don't have. When did we scrub the first 50 episodes?
Just like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Not like scrub them, I have them still, but then the feed now sits at the last 200 episodes. So the further up we get, the older the first episode gets, which I think is probably a healthy dynamic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have no connection to that first episode whatsoever. Like I don't know, I don't really remember what we talked about at all. But I was talking to actually, this happened a few years ago. I was telling a friend last night that my friend Casper. I said our friend Casper because he is our friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
He a couple of years ago a friend of his asked if for podcast recommendations, and he recommended our podcast, and that she went back right to the first episode and started listening from the first to and she listened to the first 10 or something. And she said something like, I might be remembering this slightly incorrectly, but she said something like, yeah, it was good. It was interesting. They talk about rape a lot. And they say they go, we know who she's talking about. Okay. But she doesn't know us, but,
yeah.
Casper then relayed that to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck!" It was just obviously going through a phase where it's a cheap way for a laugh, but it is weird to think back on that. But
yeah, I mean that was the era, right? We were early 20s guys, not really thinking about anyone listening to the stuff, and that was an era where you were being provocative and trying to get reactions and things, and yeah, but I guess it is. A testament. Well, yeah, it is. It's a testament to growth, as we were talking about. That we can look at it now and be like, "Wow, that's really fucked up."
Yeah, I mean, we got older and more mature, and also, yeah, we got older and more mature, and also the culture kind of changed in a way that made people more aware
of it. Yeah.
So it's not embarrassing in that sense, but it's just because it would be embarrassing if we hadn't changed. Or I'm saying I'm just totally pulling you in on this, but you never really did it. But I'm taking you down with me, baby.
Look, no, I think people understand what you're saying. It is not something to be proud of, but I think it is true that you have changed, we have changed, and that society has changed, and it is a good thing that those episodes are not there to cause people unnecessary grief if they were told to go and listen to it, because that's not representative, I don't think, of the kind of people we are anymore.
Yeah. So, as we're reflecting, Nick, on this milestone episode, 250 episodes, quarter of a century, right? Big. The what's
no
quarter of
no
quarter of 1,000.
Yeah, is there another word for 1,000?
1,000 a K?
1,000 years, 1,000 quarter of a K. Yeah.
Quarter of a K. Well, they should have a word for a quarter of 1,000 for 250 of something.
Okay, well, we can pitch it to the board and see what comes back.
Okay. I just came out of your car crash and then went into another car crash. Fucking hell. Anyway, it's a big episode, and we're reflecting on where we started, and as we were saying, we're just young men with no real clue of what a podcast was, or what our dynamic was, and just had all these hopes and dreams, and we didn't even know the name of the show at the time, and so I've been reflecting on that obviously this week, as I'm sure you have, and I've been wondering thinking about what did I think that the show was going to be, what did I want the show to be, and I'm not sure if
Talking about your bone structure, like your jawline specifically, you're maturing into, I would say, an objectively handsome man. Oh, no. And I mean handsome in both the traditional sense and also politically.
Okay. Thanks. I don't really know what that means, but I do know that we are live, baby. Welcome back to Deep Thought, ladies and jelly spoons. This is a thinky, talky podcast that the New York Times actually recently described as, and I quote, iconic, and not even in a gay way. Where we talk about the only two things in life that really matter: aliens and that Malaysian Airlines plane that went missing in 2013 that we still don't have answers for some reason. Sitting across the internet from me, it's my friend Nick. Say hi, Nick.
I love you.
And I, as always, am your host, Big Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi. We've got a big show today. There's obviously lots to talk about, lots in the news. But before we do that, I do just have to say one thing real quick. Nick, and I hope this isn't too out of line, but you do look a little different today, and I'm not sure I can put my finger on it exactly, but you look almost like open-minded today. Have you changed moisturizer or something?
No, I'm a Nivea man for life.
I sure do, brother.
But yeah, honestly, I have been thinking a lot about a lot of things lately, and I don't know. I've been thinking, as one example, about the lab leak theory and how you called it so goddamn early, and I ridiculed you at the time, and now obviously that's been proven as a historical fact.
Yeah.
But it just got me thinking about all of the times I mocked an opinion of yours because it changed the temperature of my perfectly tuned, climate-controlled ideological echo chamber.
Wow, well said.
But now I think you were not only right, but ahead of your time, a visionary. And honestly, I would and do describe you as a benevolent prophet-type figure who just happens to have a timeless masculine charm.
Wow, man, I'm speechless.
I mean, at the very least, the lab leak theory should have been discussed more seriously at the time.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And thanks, by the way, for saying all those lovely words about me. It's nice to know how much you respect and admire me. Quick question, Nick, while you've finally managed to crawl out of the NPR circle jerk bunker, Epstein, did he kill himself?
2 words: Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton. Let that sink in.
Is that a fucking Elon reference? Okay, last one real quick. Israel-Palestine. How do we fix it?
1 word: Jared Leto.
Jared Leto? Also, why can't you count?
I don't know, King. He's got this cult thing going on. People seem to follow him. I just feel like if you dropped him in Gaza with an acoustic guitar, a robe, and a couple of pingers, he could do something really beautiful. I was watching an old 30 Seconds to Mars concert on YouTube the other day, and I just kept thinking, Jay Lay is obviously so dreamy and charismatic, but he's also incredibly kind and gentle.
He's really not.
And I thought he might actually be the messiah the world needs right now.
Wow. Okay, so many things to unpack there. Firstly, Jared Leto can't even solve acting, so I highly doubt he'll be able to solve
sideburn Jared Leto.
biblical conflict. And secondly, Nick, if you spent a little less time sending me bathroom selfies at the gym and a little more trying to, I don't know, educate yourself on geopolitical issues, you would know that Israel is a fucking ethno-state propped up by Western imperialism, systematically oppressing an indigenous population under the guise of self-defense while leveraging the trauma of the Holocaust to justify settler colonialism.
A guy on TikTok said that 30 Seconds to Mars is Radiohead for hotties. Thoughts?
Well, yes, one can dream, but sometimes you just imagine what Deep Thought could have been. Yeah, maybe the roles are reversed where, I don't say dumb stuff and you kind of say you have dumb kind of conspiracy theories. It just makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder. And look, have I called you a benevolent prophet-like figure with a masculine charm? Yes, of course. But it hurts to hear it taken out of context like that, I have to say.
Yeah, that's private.
That was attached to a selfie I sent you from the gym, and it's a breach of privacy.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, that's really funny, and also still unsettling that it's that easy to just upload, I guess, episodes of the podcast. How do you get this voice?
Well, when you're using the free one, you upload like a minute of something, and then it just does it. It's clunky, but like it's still funny. Like if you're trying to do it like for comedic. For some reason, you just go and. You say and instead of and. I'm like, what? And. Well, you go German for a second. And Nevea.
Yeah. I mean, I guess any of those words that people don't say very often, like Nevea or and, would be very hard for an AI to appropriately mimic. So, points for trying, I guess. God, well done. Thank you. And it does make you really wonder what fresh horrors we've avoided in 11 years of this pod. I think we've done pretty well to end up where we have, to be honest.
This is, I'm just going to switch to sincerity mode for 1 second, please. Engage sincerity.
Bit alarm. He's doing a bit.
I couldn't even say that I'm about to be sincere without making a joke.
Engage sincerity.
No, but I am genuinely, this is like one of the proudest things that in my life, like for real. Like, and it sounds silly because, you know, we don't like have like a huge following or anything, but like just the idea that we've committed to it for so long and that it's fun and we like still, it's like there's a creative element to it where it's like we can do whatever we want and then we catch up and it's real when we talk about like, political issues or whatever. And I also love that we don't agree on everything or like maybe even most things. And I think that's a good thing. Like the idea that like, we're politically quite different and yet we still take the time to listen to each other and try and iron out kinks and try and change people's minds and are willing to change our mind on things. I think that's so good. Like, especially in this is going to sound corny, but like in this day and age where everything is so fucking polarized and it's just people are in different teams and you need to know which team you're in and toe the party. I think it's just so I'm proud of us for like doing this and listening to each other for so long.
Well, I actually disagree. I don't think people these days are very polarized. I think actually everyone tends to agree with most things, and it's just actually the political media who are stirring up this sort of false narrative about the differences between people, when in reality we actually share a lot more in common than people would have us think.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Yeah. Also, I agree. It has been a really incredible 11 years, and I can't believe we're at 250, and I would like to thank you for continuing. When I first moved overseas, there was a moment there where you genuinely were like, well, that's it then. We're not going to do it. Like, how would we even continue it?
Yeah.
And it's been 10 years longer of us doing it remotely than it ever was in the same room.
Yeah.
And I do look forward to it every week because I do get to catch up with a friend and I do get to talk about things in like actual depth, topics that interest me and interest you and also do the silly things.
Yes,
and, the overcommitted things. So,
it's a really very special, not to pat ourselves. Well, we just fucking listen to 2 episodes on top of each other.
I think if there's one episode.
But this is a special thing, Nick. And you're a special person in my life.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I'll say some sort of nice thing at your wedding as well. Mm-hmm. I feel like in order to disengage sincerity mode, it's probably time for the intro. So, welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. This is a podcast in which we talk about the things that matter by 2 people who also matter. And sitting through the internet with me, my friend Michael. Say hello, Mike.
Hi.
Oh, I just found it, but that's okay. And I'm Nick, and it has been a pleasure to be with you this podcast. So if you've enjoyed this today, then I suggest you go back and listen to other episodes of the show. You cannot listen to any of the early ones anymore, which is for your benefit. You can go back in time and listen to some of those old ones. You can get in touch with us in the ways that we mentioned earlier, deepthought@gmail.com. Still our email, still available. You can find us on Instagram. You can send us messages on Facebook. You can rate us on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. And thank you to those people who have started commenting on Spotify. Ben mentioned he had done it, and my dad and Michael, and those are the 3 people who have commented on Spotify. And of course, if you want to do something good for the world, you could suggest to a friend that maybe they might like to listen to us. That would be really appreciated. And maybe don't send them this episode because it would be confusing. How'd you like that? Intro and outro back to back, baby.
I mean,
They said it couldn't be done.
Christopher Nolan of podcasts.
This is the Tenet DVD commentary.
Yeah, well, speaking of flipping the formula, I got a little bit of housekeeping here.
Good segue. Yeah, go, please.
Well, I guess technically... Well, so I just want to say also thank you for people, so many people, like more than any other episode. We got so many messages about the last episode that people liked. So I just thought that was really cool. Like I was surprised. And what do we talked about Ukraine and male issues.
Yep.
But it was. Thank you for thank you for telling us that. It's really nice to hear. And from now on, we will only be talking about those two things because we worked out the formula.
Yeah, the algorithm liked it, and now it's all you're getting.
All right, Nick, mailbag jingle, please.
I will press the button now.
Mailbag, it's a weekly mailbag.
Deep thoughts, mailbag.
Okay, so this is just a bit of a follow-up to a story I told a few weeks ago where I had it could have been the last one, I'm not sure, but I had a wasp fell in my beer or drowned or killed itself, and
the authorities are still investigating.
And you were horrified that I scooped the wasp out and still drank the pint. So we got an email from one of our great friends of the show, Sean Lewis, who designed the artwork for the show. And so he sent us an email saying, I just listened to last week's ep and I have to agree with Michael. I would also still drink a beer that a wasp drowned in. It's only one wasp. Hell, I just drank a coffee after spooning a fly out that just landed in it. No harm done. So that's amazing. That's hilarious. But what I thought was really fun about this was that Sean's wife then emailed us as well.
Chloe.
Which is very funny, Chloe. So Chloe then immediately emails us separately. Subject line, further context to Sean's gross coffee story. The mug of coffee had been sitting on the table for 10 hours before he found it again, spooned out the fly and drank the coffee. Which I just thought was so funny too. Just to clarify something, just be like, no, you're not telling the full story. But then via email is so funny to me that...
Yeah.
So thanks to Sean and Chloe for your honesty.
Imagine doing such an egregious act and then sending such an egregious summary of it that your wife jumps on the emails to send through clarity. Yeah. Sorry, this cannot go unanswered. I need to inform them of the full picture.
It was just it was music to my ears. So thanks, Sean and Chloe.
And do not act like you would also not drink a cold coffee with a fly in it, Michael, because I know you would.
I've never said that I wouldn't. I literally ate a piece of pepperoni that had been on the ground for like 5 minutes yesterday. And you know what?
Why? Did you drop it or did you just see it on the ground?
I remembered that I dropped it. But this is the thing. This is why I do these things, right?
Uh-huh.
I've never gotten sick from doing that, so it's fine. And also, dogs eat stuff from the ground all the time. I'm like...
Dogs?
Oh, yeah, animals eat stuff. We used to eat food on the ground. Like, it's fine. It's just honestly fine. Like, I'm not... Germs... Like, people talk about germs. I've never seen a germ. Germs never hurt. Has never harmed me. It's fine. I think it's kind of bullshit. Just eat it. Just drink it.
Just eat the floor pepperoni that you forgot about and left on the ground. I mean...
Perfectly
to be fair, if
pepperoni.
Pepsi had seen it, she would have eaten it already. So
Exactly.
The dog probably hasn't licked it or anything. It'd only be contaminated by your floor and not much else.
Yeah. No, the floor was disgusting.
And you did stand on it, but other than those two things.
Well, yeah, there was probably fecal matter on there as well.
Well, there's often more fecal matter on the kitchen sponge than there is on the toilet seat. Did you know that, Michael?
No, I didn't, but I'll stop brushing my teeth with it there.
The kitchen sponge?
Yeah. Did you know you're not meant to like spit out after brushing your teeth
Yeah.
or rinse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally just learned that like 2 days ago.
Yeah. No, you're meant to spit it out. You're not meant to rinse out with water because leaving the toothpaste foam on your teeth adds fluoride back to your teeth.
I have literally my whole life done that. So,
Well, I mean, as a kid, I think everyone just wants to eat the toothpaste, right? It's like a little minty treat. Like that's a reward for brushing your teeth when you're a kid. Is like, ooh, it's like I get an after dinner mint, you know? Like that's part of the fun of it. And the same with some Listerine. You know, no one when you're a kid, you don't want to be spitting that out. That's half the fun.
no, it's got alcohol in it. I mean,
Well,
it's the only way to get a buzz.
That's when you're 11. That's the best drink you got access to.
Yeah, still is.
I think we have talked on this podcast about how I would genuinely drink like a Listerine flavored cocktail,
Yeah, you like mint.
but no flies allowed. I have my limits.
Flies the limit.
The flies the limit. Well done. I have one brief little thing here. Maybe we keep it short this week. Last time it was pretty long one. But this is just a brief little thing that I don't know if it qualifies as a myth, but it certainly was a humph. And I want to get your opinion on it.
Is this a new segment called Huh?
Huh? It's just the Tim from
Tim
Chill
Allen.
Time.
That's in one of our segments. That's in the Moments of Sensing.
I know.
That actually would be a good jingle.
Well, I'll
It's
look
short.
into it.
Anyway,
We'll sort this out off pod. But
I'll send you my my Tim Allen files.
yeah, so I got an email this week. It's from the solar company. It's not actually. It doesn't matter who it's from, but I got an email. Hey Nick, I'm Kellen from blah blah blah. I'm reaching out to ask how your solar system's going on. Blah blah blah. This is the thing. Blah blah blah. I'd love to hear from you soon. I'm excited to talk about your system. If you have any questions, email me here or simply reply. And then the sign off. God bless, Kellen.
Whoa, that's bold.
That is such a bold sign off. Do you not agree? Like that's putting it all on the table.
I think it'd be probably acceptable in America, but like it's a move to do that.
That is such a move.
Yeah.
Sign off. God bless.
Yeah.
Like
you could like imagine if you replied, "Praise Allah, Nick."
Yeah. I mean, genuinely, I haven't replied to him, and I think this is partly why. Like I've found it very off-putting. I don't know what tone to take with him.
It's kind of aggressive. It's like weirdly aggressive to me.
It's
I think.
aggressive. It is aggressive. Do you think that I should? No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't reference it, right? Like that's just if you go back to him, you can't say like, just by the way, I'm atheist, and like this is kind of a weird vibe you're putting out, or do you just like ignore it?
I mean, as someone who does not have a stake in this situation at all, I would love you to do that.
Okay.
Push back hard, yeah.
Push back really hard, you think?
Really, really hard.
Okay, I thought you would actively trying to.
I forgot that I wasn't doing this.
Oh, yeah, I still haven't replied.
Yeah, or just ghost him, and then just see if God finds the email
finds a
for
way.
you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or here's the other thing you could do: one up him on the Christian stuff. Go.
Double down.
God bless and Jesus saves, my man.
Yes.
You forgot. You're forgetting something. Jesus saves.
Jesus be
actually.
upon you on this glorious day, made in our
Yes.
Lord's name. Heavens be. Greetings to the dearest of Lord's children, Kellen. Thank you so much kindly for your email. What a delight it was.
I like this one the most. And also,
Okay.
you have to open your response with, "Hello, my fellow brother."
My fellow brother.
Well, brother,
Is that
Yes, I don't know. I think it's what the disciples say.
Okay, hello, brother of, we're all children of Jesus, aren't we? Children of God.
I am. I'm not sure about you.
I'll have to check. Yeah.
Check John.
Check.
I believe it's 27. John 27 verse 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should just look that up right now.
Give it a goog.
Yeah, give it a go.
Yeah, give it back to me. Or here's another one. I've got so many ideas for this.
Please.
email
Yeah,
response.
I'm open. Yeah.
Normal email, right? You don't even address the God stuff, but then in your email signature,
Praise Satan.
It's a verse from the Bible. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh.
just like you're like, you don't even address it, but you're like, this is in my fucking, like, this is like kind of watermarked on my email, dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa, yeah, that's a true brother of God.
Yeah, step it up. So I've got a custom like JPEG at the bottom, which has a like embossed biblical quote.
That's awesome, dude. I'm gonna do that.
What about if I do it, but it's also a quote that I've made up, and it's got the wrong, like chapter and verse, like I just make up my own, Michael 27:19,
That's
like
perfect.
Bitches be crazy,
That's
perfect. we just see whether he bites.
And Michael is the perfect name because it sounds like one of those biblical names.
Totes. Yeah.
Well, you nailed it there, Nick. Do that.
Okay.
Screenshot it, and we'll put it on the Instagram.
Perfect.
Content.
And look, if a benevolent prophet-like figure with a masculine charm is telling me to do this, I mean, who am I to refuse?
You got to do what I say.